So what we've got to look at in our business more often than not, where we want to find new business, is actually in the existing relationships we already have. Because just because when you spoke to someone the first time doesn't mean that they were A, ready to go ahead, okay, or B, it was the biggest priority for them today.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Excellent. All right. Well, with that nice little segue mentioning Tim, probably a good time to introduce Tim. So Tim and I go not way back, but not as far back as Aldrin and Tim did back to university days. But we've known each other for sort of 2 or 3 years now. So Tim's area of expertise is he lives in the heartland of Australia, or the capital of Australia, known as Canberra. And he is a marketing automation and business process specialist. He's worked with some pretty large organizations on their automations and processes. And these days he is consulting with and working with many small, medium businesses throughout Australia, New Zealand, and I think, sort of various other places around the globe as well too. Tim's really knowledgeable and really knows his stuff. And even I get sort of lost sometimes talking to him thinking, geez, I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. So he just gives me so many ideas in terms of things to really sort of look at in terms of business process, marketing, automation. So his topic tonight is discover how to win more clients with less effort. So welcome along, Tim.
I should probably take myself off mute.
That might help.
Yeah. I thought what I might do is I'm knocking up a super quick automation as you were talking there, I guess just to illustrate how easy some of this stuff is or could be in your business. So let me just, I'm going to save that one, copy that, close and delete. I'm going to edit edit templates. Where do you want to go? I mean, I'm open to you guys actually, because Nick only asked me on the weekend and says, what do we want to talk about? So I kind of threw some stuff over the team, and I don't actually know what I committed myself to. Let's just ask a quick question for those of you who have got your camera on. Who's using any form of automation in their business right now? One, Julie, Stuart, awesome. Jane is a bit maybe. Tracy, yes. Fiona, yes. I can't actually see everybody. There's too many. We've got some thumbs up. Come off mute, guys. Tell me, just share some of the things that you automate in your business and how it works for you.
Okay, I'll get started. It's Jane here. I run an art business, so focusing on online art classes at the moment. And I try to automate as much of my social media as I can, although I have found, especially with Pinterest, that Tailwind, which is the automation tool for Pinterest, is really dominant for the American market. So as soon as I started using them, although it was a lot easier on me because I could do a month's worth of posts all in one day, but it all focused towards the American market, and all of a sudden all my posts were being seen in America and not Australia. I've used Later for Instagram, and so it's just a social media thing for myself.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing.
I'll go, Tim.
Yep, go for it.
So I use Zoho as a platform, and I've got a tool. So I use LinkedIn to identify clients, and I've got a product called Link Match that parses the information from the LinkedIn contacts straight into my CRM.
Julie,
and I'm built.
To hear that.
What's that? Well, this is going live, isn't it? Hello, LinkedIn. How are you?
Not doing that really.
And I use it to got a whole bunch of templates to send out emails. So I'm not having to retype those templates, and I'm building a workflow process so that as I roll out my sales and marketing strategy, there's a nurturing campaign and all the rest of it, and it's all done through workflows or blueprints.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing.
And I've got somebody doing it for me. I'm not doing it myself.
Even better, you've gone one step.
I'm learning. I'm taking some of my own advice.
You've gone one step further. I love it. All right. Anyone else want to share? Karen.
Yeah, hi. I've got a platform that does CRM, emails, forms, and all sorts of links and things. So I just have a link where I use on my sign off, or I can send to someone, and it'll go in and it'll ask them a whole lot of questions, and it'll also give them the gift that I said they could have. And it'll save their details, and it'll send out an email, and it'll also ask them my Calendly I use as well, my calendar, which is 10 to 8. I don't know, most people haven't heard of it. It's actually a UK based product, and that also is automated, and it sends out, I put it on here actually, and it sends out a rating, like a testimony, a review rating to my people as well once they've had an appointment with me. So I do that kind of thing, yeah. And it happens automatically. A lot of it happens automatically. Yeah. So I built up, what's that? It's a building page as well. What do you call it? I've forgotten the terminology. It builds a page to do everything, like not a website, but the other thing.
Landing
Page builder.
Yeah, it's a landing page and all that stuff as well. Thanks for that, Stephen. I just went blank. Yeah, so it's great. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, the thing is, we're surrounded by automation all the time. I'm probably a bit frozen up here, guys. My internet is pretty crappy, so hopefully it won't drop out. But the thing is, we're surrounded by automation and systemization already. And one of the things I hear a lot of from people is they really question what value it brings to their business, right? And whether it's worth making the investment in that, right? For a couple of reasons. Firstly, we make this assumption that automation in our business suddenly means less personal. And I'm sure there's a few people that, if you're brave enough to raise your hands, would think that automation means less personal. Right? But the reality is that we're surrounded by automation in our daily lives right now. When someone rings our phone number, the phone rings, right? There's a ringtone at our end. That is an example of automation. The reminder message you get for your haircut is automation. The movie tickets that you get delivered after you buy an online purchase, that's automation. The confirmation email when you make an online purchase is an automation as well. And we're surrounded by this all the time, and the smart businesses are taking advantage of that, right? The difference between, it was interesting, I was having a conversation with Clayton Mask recently, right? And Clayton's the CEO and one of the co-founders of Infusionsoft, which is now Keep. They've got in excess of 150,000 customers worldwide. They're close to $1 billion company. And the thing that he said to me the other day, he said, "Where are you at in the business? What are you working on right now?" He said, "There's two things that make the difference between a small business and one that actually delivers the lifestyle that you want from the business that you are in." And there was two things that was really interesting in that. One is around systemization, right, and automation of the stuff that's taking you too much time. And the second thing was when you get your first staff member. How many people here have a VA or a staff member in the business? All right, and for a couple of us. Out of curiosity, what difference did you notice at that particular point in time? Nick, I know you've got a few, mate. Want to share?
It made a huge difference, and it was really just trying to think. It makes a big difference in terms of headspace. So I've got a clearer head to think about more of the product-based things and creating things in the business, because I'm not necessarily dealing with some of the detail, some of the day-to-day detail, and even not dealing with some of the important stuff in business, like the marketing and social media and websites and that sort of thing. I used to be really excited about those sort of things. These days, I'm not quite so excited about that, but I am excited a lot more about, what we can create and how we can, sort of make a better customer experience. What sort of products, can we put together? What's really going to help people? So it's really that sort of thing. So that's from a business perspective. From a personal perspective, it means I get to go and play golf on Friday as well, which people hear me sort of say that. But look, it really is really important. I've never been a big golfer, and I had to find something to do when I have my day off. Otherwise, I'd spend my time in front of the computer screen looking at more apps and tools and things. But it really is quite important to have something else to do, but because that in itself just frees your head.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone else want to share? Stacey, you had your hand up, didn't you? No?
Yeah.
I'm happy to share.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I've had a VA for about 2 years now, and it is just such a godsend to have someone supporting you in business and someone you can kind of palm off stuff that you don't want to do, right? And where you could be, putting your time towards something that's more in line with your flow and what you're great at, and outsource anything you're not great at. It's been absolutely invaluable, and I'm at the point now looking to employ another person. So I don't know how I actually did business without a VA, to be honest.
Yep. Now, it doesn't matter as a VA, right? Whether your virtual assistant is in the office with you and they're not so virtual, or they're located somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. Those are the two key things, right? And it's interesting how we grow our businesses in some ways. It's actually very, very similarly parallels what's happened over the last 250 odd years since the Industrial Revolution, right? Pre-Industrial Revolution, the business owner, everyone was self-employed, but the business owner found the materials, crafted the goods, marketed their goods, sold their goods, did all the customer service related to the sale of those activities, and so on. And largely everyone, we did everything ourselves. Along comes the Industrial Revolution, and we go, well, look, there's these factory things we can do. And if we put someone onto a particular skill, they'll be able to do that one thing faster and more effectively than we'll be able to do with all the knowledge we have. Now, there's no one in this room that ever say, who's in business full time right now, would ever go, hey, I'm going to go back and get a day job, because you'd probably, shoot yourself in the head and think I'm absolutely crazy to go and do so. Right? Once you've been in business for yourself for a period of time, you get stuck in it. And as we sort of, developed over the last 250 years, we had people on the conveyor belt who passed work product down the line, and they manually handed that stuff on to the next person. That got replaced with a couple of steam engines and some conveyor belts, and work product moved around the line, and the people stayed still. All right, it was a bit more effective. Right? And then we replaced the people on the line with robots in some cases. Right? And the person on the line moved from there onto the control panel that pressed start and stop. And in many cases, this is what we're doing in our businesses right now. What the journey we're all on is very much how business, the evolution of business, the evolution of manufacturing has happened over the last 250 years. Only the thing that's on our conveyor belt is not our work product. It's not the thing we create for our customers. It is our customers. They take a journey from where they become aware of us to getting to know, like, and trust us, to subscribing to our CRM, where we can continue to build a relationship. I can't move my shoulder because it's stuffed right now, so I'll have to stop with the gesturing. All right, and there's different stages that those customers will go through until such time as they not only give us money, but they become raving fans. Now, Nick was kind enough to share a couple of really awesome sites earlier that give us almost here's how you ask for a testimonial. And yet everyone in the room tonight would know of a business who did all the work in the world to chase our attention, and then once we bought from them, completely forgot. In fact, just recently, we have an air conditioning and heating system that's under our house. It got flooded, and as a result of that, broke. So we've had no air conditioning or heating for the last 6 months or so. Not so bad over summer, not great over winter in Canberra. But, you know, if I tell you a story of that, right, we had 3 tradesmen come in. None of the first 3 tradesmen quoted. The 4th tradesman quoted $23,000. Okay, did all the work to attract our attention, got to the point of quote, we said yes. And because he had no system to deliberately and intentionally move us through that customer journey along that conveyor belt, he never sent us an invoice, all right, to pay the deposit. Okay, Nick is looking fairly incredulous there. It's true, $23,000, never sent us an invoice. We agreed on the spot. Didn't leave a business card, so we had no idea who to contact. All right, the 5th one came in and we've gone, sure, let's make it happen. And then it's costing $21,500 or something or other. Okay. Now that company haven't contacted us in the last 6 years, despite the fact that our system needs annual maintenance, which probably costs, you know, probably makes them another couple of $100 every year. And now that thing has been flooded and broken, we've got no idea who they are to contact. So what are we going to do? We're going to go back to market and pick whoever's top of mind at that particular time. So not only they missed out on, they got the original business, but they've not only missed on that, but they've missed out on the $200 or $300 every single year for the last 6 years. And insurance quote, another $8,000 that they've missed out on. So a lot of our opportunity in our business to find more business, right, and do the things that we want to do actually comes from our existing business and our existing relationships. We just don't go deep enough with them. We fall into the trap of having 10 kids on the first date. Now, ironically, I have actually met a guy recently in Vancouver who got married to his first wife on their first date, divorced her, got married to his second wife on their second date, also divorced her and was now looking for his third wife. So it does happen, right? It just doesn't happen very often. So what we've got to look at in our business more often than not, where we want to find new business, is actually in the existing relationships we already have. Because just because when you spoke to someone the first time doesn't mean that they were A, ready to go ahead, okay, or B, it was the biggest priority for them today. Right? Now, imagine for a moment, everyone on the screen, if you've changed it to gallery view, you'll see just about everybody on the screen, right, rather than just me. Imagine for a moment that everybody on this screen represents the people you know, right? Your ideal customer for the thing that you sell. So let's pick David. David, what do you sell, mate? What do you do for people?
We sell interactive videos.
So interactive videos. Okay, how many people here could use an interactive video in their business? Okay. Everyone put their hand up, right? Because everyone can use an interactive video. There you go, David, a bunch of leads. How many of you in the market today, right now, for an interactive video? Just one, 2. Jane and Nick. So David, contact those 2 people straight away. But that's typical of what the market is.
Yeah.
You're connecting with people and you're putting all of your efforts into connecting with people, but you're not having a deep enough relationship until such time as that we go, that is the thing I need to solve today. I've got other issues, right? It's almost 8 o'clock here. I haven't eaten for 8 hours. My biggest issue is going to be what to have for dinner. In fact, it won't be that because the fridge went on the fritz this afternoon. So my biggest issue is fixing the fridge. I'm going to fix the fridge before I go and get interactive video. Doesn't mean I don't need one. It means I need to David has to put me somewhere to continue building a relationship until such time as I'm ready to buy. In fact, a client I had last year, I can share her here, Shika, was talking about how she was at 10 websites a year that she would build. She wanted to grow her business. She's connected to 600 people, or was connected to 600 people on LinkedIn at the time. And like everyone else on LinkedIn, was just putting out some content. Now, I'm sure Julie will sort of jump in on here because she's got lots of insights onto how to make LinkedIn work for people. But 600 people. Now, what we know about websites is that everyone will replace their website every 5 years. Okay. If you haven't done it, you haven't been in business for 5 years. But just about every 5 years, people will go, and they've got a different brand, a different product, a different sort of marketing message, different customer, right? You'll refresh your website every 5 years to reflect where you are currently. Now, 600 people, right? They're all her ideal customers. Okay, roughly 120 a year means roughly 10 per month are in the market to buy a website today or this month. And all she needed to do, not to sort of start advertising or doing anything else or suddenly go and doing all these other activities, you just need to actually start talking to them. So once a month now, she reaches out to everyone in her network and says, hey, how's it going? What are you working on right now? Sometimes they even say, hey, I'm thinking about doing my website. I know you do that. Can you help me? The answer is yes. Okay. So we've got to think about not number of relationships we create in our business, it's the depth of those relationships we create. And it works at every level of business, whether you are just getting started and you still got your day job like Annie, right? Or whether you're, 25 years into your digital marketing journey like I am, 28 years in now. Depth of relationship is critically important, and that's where you need to be looking. Okay, so what we've got to look to is how can we do that? Because we've only got so much time in our life, right? We can only talk to so many people. In fact, the period last year, I was spending 5 hours a day on LinkedIn until I went and hired someone else to do that. Now we have an automation that drives the behavior of my VA who manages my social media accounts. Right? We're going to do an exercise before we get into that though. Nick, can I share my screen? Is that going to work? I can't.
Yeah, you should be good to go.
I can't share my iPad, so I'm going to have to try and do this on the whiteboard. I want to do challenge everybody. I can do whiteboard, mate, so I'll just do that. That'll be fine. It just won't be as pretty as if I had that thing. I want everyone to do this. I want you to write down a number of how much you'd like to get paid per year. Feel free to throw the number out if someone's feeling brave. What would be worth it for you to be in small business? Does anyone want to share that number? Annie, I can see
I'll
you.
put down 3 million.
$3 million. Okay, let's go 3 million. Anyone else want to share? That's a good number, Annie.
I'm being optimistic, but it's
Absolutely.
possible.
That's in your pocket, by the way. That's not necessarily gross turnover. It's in your pocket. $3 million.
350,000 profit.
350. Okay, you're going to
Actually,
pay
352,599.
Is it? Okay, that's very specific. That's very specific. Do I hear an advance on 350? Would everyone be happy? Like, out of curiosity, not that I can see everyone at the moment, but would everyone be happy with taking out 350,000 from their business? Not bad, is it? Right? You can't get that in a day job.
It's very good. 10 million would be great, but 350,000 is good too.
Yeah, 350 is okay. I mean, you can buy some pretty good stuff.
I must have set my standards way too low.
What
I'm an artist, so we dream about stuff. I put down 24K.
You'd be happy for all the work you do to get 24K?
No, but I'm a dreamer, so
what's the real number?
I'll never put anything. Not in a year.
No, but if you're a dreamer, then you dream big.
Okay. Can you imagine if you can't imagine what $10 million would do, you're probably not going to get there. Okay, but 24,000, you could do that in your sleep.
Well, I hope to. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's make it nice. Let's do this. Let's make it 300K. Okay. Everyone happy with the 300K? Where's my drawing now? Draw. Let's make it 300K. Okay. Whatever your number is, it doesn't even matter. If it's 24,000, go for it. What I want you to do now is work out how many weeks holidays a year you want. Nick, how many weeks holidays you want, mate?
For me, it's 6.
6 weeks. Okay. So you're going to work 46 weeks a year. Would everyone be happy with 6 weeks holidays a year? Does anyone want more than 6 weeks holidays?
6 is good.
6 is all right.
I've just had 10 and I'll highly recommend 10.
I'll take a month off. I'll take a month off every 3 months.
Okay. Well, let's go with 46. That seems to be a fairly good consensus. How many hours a week do you want to work? Nick's only working 4 days a week because he's playing golf.
Depends if you want to do the 4-hour work week. What's his name?
Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss.
Ferriss. His book's behind me. I haven't read it yet.
You definitely have to read it. The one takeaway from Tim Ferriss you need to take away, right, is design your job around your lifestyle, not your lifestyle around your job.
I enjoy what I do, so I would say 8. And
8 hours a week.
And 8 a week
8
or a
hours.
day.
8 hours a day.
Stephen, I enjoy what I do too. I just also need a break as well.
Yeah.
Recharge. I call it a recharge.
A recharge. Okay, let's go with 40. All right, let's go with 40. That's going to work the same as our public service friends. We're going to work 40 hours a week. Okay. Now, if we did that, right, $300,000 divided by 46 weeks, right, divided by 40 hours per week, right, that equals your hourly rate is $163 and change. Okay, let's just park that there for a moment. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to get you to draw a pyramid on a bit of paper. And I'm going to break it into 4 areas like this. Okay, now there's top zone. This is your genius zone. Okay, this is shit that you love doing. Give me an example of stuff that you could do all day long, doesn't seem like work, but caveat, okay? Drives your business. Okay.
Build great relationships.
Okay, build great relationships is a perfect one.
And
that drives your business forward and you can do it.
And I love doing it.
Can doing it, love doing it. Genius zone. Love doing it, can do it, and drives your business forward. Okay, so that was Julie, wasn't it? Julie out there. Awesome. What's something else that someone drives your business forward, can do it, love doing it? Does anyone want to give me an example?
Yep, animal conversations.
Animal conversations. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll draw and paint all day long.
Draw and paint.
Yeah.
And for me, it's doing things like this.
Okay. Webinars. Love it, Nick. Webinars. Okay. Now, as I said, I'm trying to write with my mouse here, which is obviously convos. Okay. I'm going to challenge you, Annie, here. Okay. Because we're going to come back to this. All right. Next one down, expert zone. Okay. Now, you're going to write down everything in your business. This is all the tasks your business does that you can do and drives your business forward, but you don't necessarily love. Does anyone want to share an example of one of those? Can do it, drives my business forward, don't necessarily love.
Reports.
How does doing reports drive your business forward, Nick? Stephen?
Because that's once I've done the deep dive and built the relationship with the client, I need to then give them a roadmap for the business, and that's a report with all the findings that I've got. And I'm good at it, but I'm not passionate about doing it.
I'm going to challenge you on that one because I don't think that actually drives your business forward.
Okay.
Emails.
Emails? I'm going to challenge you on that one. Emails don't drive your business forward.
But it does drive my business forward because I need to put everything on an email to send to all my experts so they can actually move forward with the stuff they need to do for me.
Okay, that one's okay.
Editing my videos for YouTube.
Absolutely not. Nick, when was the last time you edited a video, mate?
I have to say Christmas time because I got a bit, I thought I'll just do this, but I've got an awesome editor whose name's JM who's on this call, so he gets to do them all.
Awesome. Good on you, JM. Okay. Next one down. All right. Next one down is your competence zone. Okay. There we go. Competent. That's not really competent. Stuff you can do, but if you did it all day long, it would drive you absolutely crazy.
Yes, I've got one for that.
Bookkeeping. Video editing. Debbie, what have you got?
No, I agree with you. Bookkeeping and all of that, yeah, drive me mad.
Alden?
Yeah, in my business, I help people get publicity. So what I love is I love chatting with clients, doing the media consultation, doing interviews, shining the light on people. What I don't enjoy doing so much, which I'm very good at as well, but it's just not in flow, is contacting media and following up with media, because that can take a while, and it's can be a bit of a
time-consuming process.
Time consuming, and it's not hard work, but it's just, I know I'm not in flow when I'm doing it.
Yep.
It's not my genius zone.
Okay, perfect example. Okay. Can do it, right? But if you had to do it all day long, you'd go, oh my God, what am I doing?
Entrepreneurs don't like admin.
No, we don't. Okay, admin stuff is a really good one. Guess what the bottom one is? Okay, who's got some incompetent stuff that they do because they think they're saving money?
I'm not making money.
Not making money? Debbie, what's your thing you're incompetent at?
Well, the things I was going to say, like building a landing page, but I just built my last landing page. I'm building a website at the moment. So I'm kind of, they started off being incompetent, but I'm becoming competent at it, but it's not something I need to become competent at and could give to someone else.
Absolutely right. Does anyone else want to share? Again, I can't see everybody, so.
Yeah, I'm just about to do my first webinar and I've never done one of those before.
Go girl.
Right, are you creating your webinar slide deck?
Yes, I'm working on content for slides at the moment.
Okay, so what I would suggest you do, that if you're not very good at that, you need to get rid of that. You can deliver the webinar, absolutely, but you don't need to create the webinar, okay? Or do the tech setup for the webinar if you don't know how to do that. I'm looking at it here because I've got two screens, okay? So what happens is we often spend time in areas that we're either competent at and don't enjoy, or we're incompetent at, neither of which drive our business forward. And we spend hours and hours and hours doing this stuff that we shouldn't really be doing at all. Right? I can write content for my website, not something I should be doing. Sales conversations. I'm interested. No one mentioned sales. Is that because nobody loves doing sales?
No, I did. I said building relationships with people. To me, that's the same as building relationships, and sales are the same thing to me.
Okay. You're an outlier, Debbie. It's okay. You can admit to not liking, people can admit to not liking doing sales, but that's one thing that drives their business forward. In fact, the companies who, successful companies, the CEO tends to spend 80% of their time doing sales and marketing activities, driving sales and marketing, almost nothing to do with delivery. And in fact, if we look at what this is supposed to look like, just 5% of our time spent doing stuff trying to save money, right, is 88 hours per year of pretty much wasted time. It's a little bit scary. What our pyramid should look like is this. Oops, upside down. It should look like this. Okay, not this way, because this is how typically small business owners get stuck. All right, we should be spending 80% of our time up here in our genius zone, 20% here in our expert zone, and nothing at all in these other two zones. And that might sound a bit weird, right? But for every minute you spend in here or here, you are not earning $163 an hour, right? Or you're working longer and harder than you should. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Okay. So let's go to Annie's thing here. If I don't, hopefully I don't mind if I pick on you, Annie.
Go for it.
Okay. What do you charge per hour or per session to work with animals?
So I offer mediumship sessions where I talk to an animal in spirit, and that's $111.
Okay.
And that can vary. That may take up to an hour or more than an hour by the time I've typed up all the responses back to send back to the parent. And then I've got a standard conversation, which is $222.
Okay, is that for an hour?
That's more than an hour.
Okay, how long is it?
And that's asking up to 10 questions, so that might be an hour and a half to 2 hours.
An hour and a half plus time to write up the report, plus time to actually win the customer in the first place. Okay. So if you're now coming back to our little graph here before, if you're aiming for 3 million, all right, and you're doing $100 an hour, effectively $100 an hour activities, 163 is only going to give us 300,000 a year. How are we going to get to 3 million? Okay. So the reality is what we need to look at doing is either everything down in these bottom two zones, right? We need to here and here, right? We need to either delegate that to someone, eliminate it from our business altogether, or automate that so it can be done more efficiently than we can do it by ourselves. Right? So let's look at another example of that. Stop share. Okay. So let's pick this one up. All right. Nick, very conveniently. All right. There we go. Okay. So let's see if I can share can I share my screen, Nick? I can.
I think you can, yep.
Okay. So here we go. Here is my keep system. All right. Nick has previously purchased. Okay, we talked about that conveyor belt earlier. It's the same thing every single time a customer goes through it. All right. So when someone comes in, becomes aware of us, we start to nurture their relationship with them. Okay, Debbie, you talked about, you nurture relationships with key individuals. Okay, how can we systemize that process in the business so that we don't have to kind of remember it with all the other stuff we've got going on, that our technology tells us what we need to do and when we need to do it. Okay, so here we go. Send testimonial to Tim. Let's actually put it against me. All right, I don't have Nick in my system. If I did, I would. In fact, I'm going to add Nick in. Nick. Oops, Nike. All right. What's your email, Nick?
It is Nick, N-I-K, at smashgo.co.
.co. That's awesome. Okay, so look at that. Already populated his thing. Nick's a client. Done. Smash go. Add new company. Smash go. Clearly I can't type. Right. So we got some details about Nick, and I'm going to hit save. Right, now I want to send Nick, all right, I want to systemize an email to go out to Nick, right? Because this is something we want to ask every single one of our clients about. Okay, Nick, you mentioned the guy with the 200 testimonials, the 200 reviews. The reason that people with 200 reviews don't read it, did he go, well, there's 200 of them, must be good at what he does, right? No one's ever going to read it. If you only get one review, people will read it all the time. But if you've got 200, no one will. Right. So here is a task. Nick has previously purchased something from me. Right. I wait 30 days and I raise a task to send a testimonial to Nick. Comes up on my to-do list. Awesome. I click on Nick. Brings his thing up. Awesome. There's Nick. Okay. Send an email. I'm going to be super lazy. I'm not going to write it from scratch. Here's one I prepared earlier, and I'm going to hit send. Okay. It's the same process for every customer. Do I need to write the email out each time? No. And yet most of us will. Debbie.
Is there a process where after you've done something that it's automatically sent out, or you still need to manually put some things in?
No, you can automatically send that if you wanted to. Okay. So that was just an example of one that I've, very simply, if I know that I need to ask every single customer for a testimonial because that's the process I take my clients through, why don't I template the email?
So if you were to automate that to send it out, what would the part beforehand be to get that to be automated out?
Well, let's look at a scenario here. Here we go. And I'm just going to create a very simple automation here. All right, so my automation, request testimonial. I can spell request testimonial, right? When something happens, okay, let's make it a purchase. Any purchase will do. When any purchase is made, let's send an email, referral request. There we go. I've already written it. I'm going to stick a signature block on the bottom there. Awesome. Here's one I read earlier. Next. And I'm going to wait. Let's wait 4 days. Done. There's my order. Okay. When any product is purchased, wait 4 days, send an email requesting a testimonial. Okay. Simple as that. Well, as if that's simple. Okay. But if we come back to that conveyor belt process, we take out the job of our business is not to deliver, right, animal communication or software development or systems and processes or media exposure or whatever it is. The job of our business is to turn awareness into dollars and impact for us. The thing that we create is a byproduct of that. Okay. So if I know that I need to take people through my process, right? What is my process? Okay. I'm going to connect with the right people on Facebook, wherever. New lead nurture. All right. So next, what I'm going to do? Well, let's pick a public form. Let's use that one there. I'm going to stick that in front of people. What I'm going to do? I'm going to send a notification to myself. New lead. Oops,
and then you just need to fill that form out that you did.
I fill it out. I want that to happen immediately. What else needs to happen? Well, I need to send an email to customer. Here's my information. Okay, I could put a link into the thing they've requested. Let's send that immediately. Let's wait a couple of days. Let's go. Let's catch up. Right? We talked about calendar links before. There's a calendar link. Let's have a quick chat. Done. Let's send that after 3 days. Okay. Maybe there's a tag I need to put on to segment them in my account that said they're interested in my email series. Okay. So we've now got a process that we've designed that takes our customer from awareness to getting something of interest that helps them on their customer journey to continue to nurture until such time as they raise their hand and say, yep, I'm ready to go. Okay, so David, your scenario before, right? We had Nick and Jane pop their hand up, right? So you would go, oops, what's the process I want to take Nick and Jane through? Okay, so I'd go back to Nick. Where is Nick? Now, this is a Keep Pro, but you can do this Keep Grow. You can do this in all sorts of things. There we go. There's Nick. What I would do is I would add, in fact, even just pick Nick. Let's go pick Nick. He's got his head, pretty face. All right. Add or remove tags. Okay. And I'm going to go, you are nurture subscriber. There we go. Apply tag. That now starts an automation that says, hey, Nick, I saw you were interested in this. Here's a resource that I thought you might find valuable. And Nick goes into an automation that says, you know, here's some stuff, here's some more stuff, here's some more stuff. Whenever you're ready, jump on a call. Here's my calendar link. Let's have a chat. Okay. And Nick's going to be put into some form of process that David can go and play golf as well if he wants to. And Nick is continuing to get this nurture process until such time as he raises his hand and says, yes, I'm interested in what you're doing, David. Let's get on a call together. Who's got a process like that in their business right now? Nick does. Anyone else?
Yep.
Okay. Stephen's got one. Okay. Now this makes the difference between winning clients and not winning clients. Right. Now, interestingly, we do this in our personal lives. If we're all single right now, we go out to a nightclub because we can do that at the moment, which is great. Luckily, we're not in the US. We would meet someone of interest. We would invite them to have a drink with us. We'd invite them to dance. We'd exchange phone numbers, and we continue to build a relationship until such time as they want to go on a date. Our customers are very much the same. So it doesn't matter what channel you're using, whether you're using Clubhouse or LinkedIn or Facebook, or you're running TV or radio ads. Okay. That's just a way of getting awareness. Our next process is, how do I capture and exchange details with that person in a value-led relationship? If I want your email, just putting a subscribe link on my website won't work. Nick, what is the purpose of your website?
It is got only one job, and that's to get an email address.
Yeah. Just to get an email address. Okay. So all the fancy retargeting stuff we do with pixels and everything else is just about getting them to come back and exchange that email address. So we can start that conversation with somebody. Debbie.
Which would you say, like, I understand that email addresses are a huge importance. Which would you say is more important, getting an email, a CTA is getting an email address, or a CTA of getting a calendar booking? Only because I know that also with social media, you never know what's going to happen down the end with social media. So I guess with a calendar appointment, you also get an email address. But which would you say is more important for a CTA?
Email. Calendar comes later. Okay, and I'll show you why. All right, just, and in fact, we'll use David as an example. Everyone here, right, could use video more effectively in their business, but not everyone's ready for it today. And so if we look at the people who are ready, let's go and come back to my little screen here on my whiteboard. Again, we'll use another one of, oh, save my whiteboard. That's pretty cool. How do I delete this? Right. Well, that's cool. It just deletes the whole thing. Okay, if we look at the sort of the typical market for where people are at in their business right now, it looks a bit like this. All right, up the top here, we've got about 3% of people who are in the market today to buy. In fact, the example we just used before with David and Jane and Nick, right? Of all the people on the call, how many are there, Nick? 30? 40? Whatever. All right, 3% of those people are ready to buy now. All right, the next sort of 7%, this is 2 to 3% typically, are ready to buy now. Now, it doesn't mean to say you'll actually sell to them. It just means they're kind of, that's the priority for them. They're looking, they know the solution they want, and it's a priority in the business. The next 7%, 7 to 8%, all right, they're looking, all right? They're looking for a solution. Okay, doesn't mean they're ready to buy, but they're looking for a solution. If we look at their buyer journey, no idea, okay, and down here is dollars in your pocket, right? There's this ready to buy, ready now, okay? And people need to jump over this ready now hurdle before they're ready to buy from you. But these guys here are not ready to buy. They're somewhere in this point. Right, they haven't yet made the decision to purchase from you. All right, the next 3 groups, okay, problem but not looking, okay. A month ago, I needed to get new school clothes for my kid. This week, it became a problem because he started school today. A month ago, that was tomorrow me's problem, okay. Plenty of us in this room right now have problems that we want solved, but it's a problem for tomorrow you. Yeah? No idea? Not a problem? Okay, so the people down here are not a problem, okay, or not aware. All right, so there's people in this room like Gim right now and watching on Facebook who have problems in their business, but you are not aware of them until they're pointed out to you. Doesn't make it a priority. Okay, these people are aware. Okay, and these guys here, I like to actually call not clients. Okay, they're not clients. People who we could solve problems for, but we probably shouldn't solve them. Okay, those are the clients you regret taking on afterwards. Sure, there's a few of us who have some of those things. Yeah? Does that make sense to people? What's your takeaway from that? Anyone want to share?
Well, it's all about building relationships, and just like dating.
Just like dating. Absolutely like dating. Okay. So if we start to look at this now, right? You start to map your customer journey out right now. you will find areas in your business where you are losing opportunities right now. One of those is that you're trying to have 10 kids on the first date. Too often you'll see them, and they're the ones, again, on LinkedIn, right? You connect with someone and say, here are my list of services, buy from me. And you're like, oh, thanks very much. Not really interested, but thank you for sharing. You know, I'll put that in the priority list. I'll come back to that later, right? And it never goes anywhere. Okay, so that's the first opportunity you're losing clients, right? The second opportunity losing clients is you're not nurturing relationships for long enough until someone, right, is ready to buy from you because they're bubbling to the surface. Okay, you are forgetting about those people altogether. Right? We've all heard stories of someone who comes back years and years and years later and says, hey, you know, I've been watching you. Yes, you can do that. You know, can you solve my problem? And you're like, what? Where did you come from? Okay. They are not the only person who's out there. The other ones you've just forgotten about. Now, if we want to grow our business, it's your responsibility. It's not your customer's responsibility. It's not your prospect's responsibility to remember who you are. It's your responsibility. All right. And the third one is that we're not following up, just like those tradies who lost my business. We're not following up with our customers to keep them top of mind. Every single one of us, right, has a product or service that can be purchased more than once, even if you're in funerals. Okay, because the person who buys funerals is not the dead guy. All right, so we need to know what our customer life cycle is. When do they buy from us again? And we need to get back in front of them at that time. And unless we record information about our customers, we don't know who they are. We just leave it back up to them to go, please remember who I am, come back and buy from me again. Okay, it doesn't happen. The reason that Coles and Woolies and Aldi put that stuff in your letterbox every Friday is not to advertise their specials. It is to remind you that your fridge or your cupboard is empty and it's been a week since you went shopping. Okay, how are we doing for time, Nick?
We've probably got about 5 minutes and then we can run through the rest of it.
Okay, super quick. All right. The other reason we want to do this stuff, all right, if you want to jump onto my website, you can take a look at some of this stuff, is that we can use tech to pre-qualify our customers as well. I'm going to go here really quick. Win more clients. You guys can check this out if you want. If you go to winmoreclients.com.au/resources, actually, just go to Win More Clients. Don't worry about the resources. Just go to winmoreclients.com.au. Under Resources tab, you will see a thing called Marketing Quiz. All right. I give that to just about every single conversation I have now. Right? It is part of my connection script. It says, hey, just thinking I've got this quiz. You might find it interesting to work out where the holes in your marketing are and where your strengths and opportunities lie. It goes into every single conversation I have with people. My team connect to around 200 people a day. Thanks for joining us, Karen. All right. And they send that out to 200 people. Okay. Now, not everyone fills it out, but that marketing quiz, right? So winmoreclients.com.au/marketing-quiz. quiz. There we go. It's probably going to be super slow on my system, but I'll share it anyway. Pre-qualifies people, right? So the clients I've got who answer, the prospects I've got who answer really well are prospects. The ones that answer really poorly aren't prospects either. The ones that answer somewhere in the middle suddenly are. But I'm giving them something of curiosity that allows them to sort of pre-qualify themselves about where they are and what they're doing. Now, what do you think I'm doing in my CRM? I'm capturing all of the information, which tells me where the holes in their business is, all right, and potentially where I can help them. It doesn't mean to say I will, all right, but immediately it starts to pre-qualify people straight away. And if we're clever about how we target our customers in what groups they're in, what they follow, what we put in front of them early on, the questions we ask them, We can know who's a bad client before we even start working with them. And that makes things easier. Right? So, as I said, go and play with that, guys. You might find it interesting. My system is super slow. There we go. Lifecycle marketing opportunity analysis. There it is, just coming up there. Okay. Have a bit of a play with that if you want to. We can start to qualify people really quickly. Okay. Now bring that all together. If we're pre-qualifying people who come into our world, we're nurturing the people who we want to have in there for until such time as they raise their hand. And now we're starting to automate some of our follow-up and or get rid of it to a more effective resource on our team, a more cost-effective resource on our team. What do you think that all means together? We're getting more of the right customer more often at lower cost, which means more golf on Fridays. Or whatever else, thumbs up, all right? Or whatever else you want to do on Fridays as well. Okay. It just allows us to do more. All right. It allows us to create more impact on the people we want to create impact with. Okay. Over to you. That's it for me.
Awesome. Excellent. That was a whole lot of information in there that was really helpful for me. I'm hoping that was helpful for other people as well. Anyone got any questions or comments there? Do you want to take your screen off share too, Tim?
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, absolutely. There we go.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Thanks, Tim. Really great. The challenge I find with business owners is particularly startups, is the psychological challenge that they have in trading their time for that they think that they can do it themselves. And I've been guilty of that when I've started 2 small businesses, and I've been a manager in large corporates. And in a large corporate, you've got all of the resources there, and it's just the decision then of the push-pull between the creative innovation ideas, which drives the business forward, and the handbrake on the business, which is control, systems, processes. And the people in that space don't want the marketing department to come with another great idea because they've got to re-engineer the business. But the marketing department says, well, if we don't do this, we're going to get taken over. So in big business or medium-sized businesses, that's natural because you've got resources there.
Yeah.
The challenge that small business owners and I put myself into that, and that's why I've made the decision over the last 6 months, is to engage people, and I'm trading my time with them. So I'm going, my time is valuable. It's $150 an hour. So if I can find somebody to do my video editing for $50 an hour or $75 an hour, I've made money. But I actually have to be productive in the space. Yeah. So there's a lag in that space, and that takes a leap of faith.
It does take a leap of faith. Look, I learned this lesson a few years ago. I have an IT degree. I can read code. I can build websites. A few years ago, when I started this business, I thought, I'll bugger it. I'll knock up my own website. And I spent a day, 8 hours, trying to get WordPress to install correctly on my server. Right? And I can read the instructions, and I put it on and deleted it, and put it on, deleted it, and put it on, deleted it. And I was getting frustrated, as Nick knows what I'm talking about. Something I was missing. I didn't know what it was. I sent it to a guy in the Ukraine I'd done some work with before, a developer. He came back and I said, I just need WordPress installed. I'll take care of the template and everything else from there. He came back 32 minutes later, having installed WordPress and the template and created my admin logins and loaded all the demo content onto the site. And that cost me $7.15.
And the funny thing, it was probably automated as well.
You probably automated, right? And I'd spent 8 hours doing this thing. And I think that's the biggest mistake that we can make as small business owners, and particularly when we start out, is not valuing the one thing that we can't get more of. And that's our time. Cannot create more of that. Right? So as much as I can get off, as much as I can automate, as much as I can get to my staff, right? And do the things in my business that I love doing the most, right? And B, make the biggest impact on my business. I will do those things. Everything else I get rid of. Because I can be doing other things. I can be spending time with family and friends. Okay. And that's what, big businesses have learned. Effectively, the owners sometimes aren't even in the business, right? They delegate the whole thing to other people and systems.
The most successful entrepreneurs I've ever worked with are the laziest people you can find, but not lazy in a derogatory way. They just know what they're good at, and they're very happy for other people to do the work. Doesn't mean that they give away control, because they still want to oversee everything. But, do you think you can do that? Yeah. Okay, great. Go off and do it. I trust you. And come back and tell me when you've done it. So they can go off and do what their genius is.
It's absolutely true. The more time you can spend in your genius zone, the further and faster your business will grow, and the more you'll enjoy it, right? And the greater impact you'll have. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. In the last 7 years, I've worked with almost 1,000 businesses in 29 different countries. Same story every single time.
Excellent. So on those finishing words, let's finish up. Thanks, Tim. Let's give Tim a big round of appreciation. And for someone that sort of didn't have thrown in at the last minute, that was a sensational sort of hour with you. So thanks very much for giving up your evening to be with us, Tim.
My pleasure, mate. Anytime.
Excellent. So, and we do have for those that have stayed on tonight, we do have a giveaway tonight as well. Just before we run through that, I just want to remind people that last week we did share that we're running the monthly recurring revenue challenge next week. Starts on Monday next week. And that's a program that is all about looking at some opportunities to implement recurring revenue programs in your business, how to do it, what to do, where to go for it, and really the discussion tonight about how do you automate it in such a way that you barely need to touch it once it's all set up. So we're running that next week. It's at 11:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we'll run it from Monday through to Friday. The reason why I'm running it is that my theme for this year is recurring revenue, and I'm implementing one recurring revenue program in my business each month of the year. I've done 3 this year so far, so I'm a little bit ahead, a bit of an overachiever. But the process of it all is I've run recurring revenue businesses now for about 23 years, and I can't tell you enough how good it is to ensure that on the first of the month, all of your expenses, all of your overheads, everything's all paid for, and everything that comes into the business after that is almost pure profit. There are sort of cost of sales that go with it, but it just irons out all the cash flow issues that a lot of small business has. And it makes the process of running your business a lot more enjoyable. And it means that you can then go and invest in some of those things that Tim talked about, where you're not spending a whole day installing WordPress. You can actually just go off and get, somebody else to do it. So that's really the focus. I haven't met a business yet that is not able to implement some form of recurring revenue into their business. And in fact, I would challenge you to come up with an idea or a business there that could not do it. So pretty much every business that I know can implement it. So if you're interested in coming along, then you do need to register. Here's the page to register. We'll drop the link into chat. Actually, it is already in chat. It's called the MMR Challenge. It should be MRR Challenge, Monthly Recurring Revenue. It is, last week it was free. Anyone was here last week and registered, it's free. It's now $197, but if you register with that link that's up there today, it will automatically apply a coupon to drop off $100. So it's $97. So, and that expires at midnight tonight. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd love you to register and come along. I think it is something that is going to provide immense value for business. And my objective with it all is to ensure that your business has another stream of income that just keeps on coming in. So I ran through about 30 of them last week. We're going to look at specifically what you can do for your business. So links in the chat, and feel free to come and join. So now we're up to the point where we have our prize giveaway. So, Tim, you've got something for us. Is that right?
I do, mate. I do.
Excellent. Do you want to tell us what
Am
it
I
is?
on the list? Can I win?
Eh?
Yeah.
No.
So one of the things we do with our new consulting clients is we do a double your sales strategy session. It's not a sales thing. It's actually a consulting session where we'll spend 90 minutes in your business finding and fixing some holes where your current opportunities leak out, and give you a bit of roadmap of what you should be doing over the next 90 days to double your sales for 2021.
Excellent. Anyone keen on having a chat with Tim? That would be me. Excellent. All right. Well, we have this special little wheel called the Wheel of Names. So we'll spin the wheel, and the person that comes out of that is the winner. And drum roll, please. And you have to be here to win it. So, Kevin Jensen, is Kevin in the room? Kevin in the room?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
there we go. Kevin's the
I'm here.
winner.
Can you
Excellent. Excellent.
hear?
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Well, that'd be great. That's awesome. So that'd be great for you, Kevin. So, and I think you'll get on well with Kevin. Kevin's sort of IT as well, too. So you guys can geek out a bit.
We know each other already, so.
Yeah, okay.
We do. Thanks, Tim.
Excellent. All right. Well, congratulations there, Kevin. And we do have one more prize. What I'm happy to do tonight is to give away one of those tickets to the monthly recurring revenue challenge that we've got next week. So, and if you've already got the ticket, like if you're one of the ones that got it last week, you can still have the ticket and you can give it away to someone else. And up for the drum roll again. And the winner would be Peter Stewart. Is Peter in the room? Let's have a look. Peter, you still in the room here? Or has he been like Elvis? No,
Elvis, not here.
You're here?
Not here.
Not here. Okay, so Elvis has left the room, so we get to redraw this. Annie Beck. Is Annie still here? Yes.
I just said woohoo, but I had my volume off. Thank you, Nick. Are they going to be recorded? Because I might be able to attend live, unfortunately.
Yeah, there will be. Well, I always record everything, so we'll record it and then we can get it to you as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Where are all my controls? All right. So that's our evening for tonight. Just remember, tomorrow we also have office hours. So office hours is at 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's right here on Zoom. So bring along a cup of coffee, glass of wine, whatever you drink at 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock if you're in New South Wales and sort of down that coast, or what's that, about 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock New Zealand. So, and it really is a no agenda discussion. It really is just a chat about probably some of the things that have come up tonight or anything to do in the online marketing space. If you've got a question about anything in this online space, definitely the time to come and have a chat about that. So I have a good collection of business owners that turn up for that. And it usually is a really productive discussion as well. So feel free to come along to that. The link is in chat as well too. If you want to save chat, just remember to click the 3 little dots down the bottom right and you can save it to your computer. So you've got those links to have a look through and to do whatever. That's it for tonight. So we are back here again next week on Tuesday, same time, same place. And anyone that knows Jenny Walk, she's going to be speaking next week and she's going to be talking about her journey into small business from corporate and some of the lessons. So she's got some really interesting things to talk about next week. So go and have a great evening. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. And I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow and some of you next week. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.